This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and today we have a performance comparison. I am really excited to bring you guys. One is an all-new line in the Zion 1, and two is a line that I've actually really enjoyed throughout the years, and that's the PG5. Both of these have Air Strobel, but only one of these is one you really should have in your bag. Let's jump right into it. Alright, if you're new to the channel, thank you for joining. Hopefully this video helps you out as far as looking at what your next basketball kick should be. If you want to know more about performance kicks, follow the channel, subscribe down below, and if it helps you, give you a thumbs up at the end of the video. So I did say these are both Air Strobel. What is that? Jordan did this years ago. It's literally having air directly under your foot. So both of these, depending how powerful you are, I'm not going to say necessarily how big you are. Some players have found these to be really soft and cushioned. Someone like myself, I find the Air Strobel, especially when it was released on the PG4, to just feel okay. It absorbs the impact, but especially like on the PG4, it was one that it wasn't super soft, it wasn't really firm. It actually was a nice casual shoe for me. Now, if we're sticking to the PG line, the PG4 was somewhat of a flop just because there was no tongue. It was hard to get on for a lot of players, as well as there was very little support. This was just a malleable upper, so it was one of these, if you can't get a great fit and then you don't have really good support, it kind of didn't matter what the cushion was, and the traction was definitely a step back from what the PG3 was. So by and large, the PG4 is one I keep around mostly for casual use, but the PG5 totally revamped it, and the Zion is an all-new shoe, both using Air Strobel in two different ways. All right, starting with the fit, and this is going to be a big difference for a lot of you hoopers out there. The PG5 we're going to start with does run a bit narrow. I was able to do a 12.5, and I want to give a big shout out to you guys, my subscribers. This was actually sent in from one of our subscribers here on Sneaker Gears. So this shoe means a lot to me. This was a custom Bruce Lee colorway with, Mamba inspiration. Has the Kobe 9 traction, and we'll get to that. But this was a shoe that it did take some break in. It is a narrow shoe. It's good enough. I actually have my own size 13 coming in the mail, and I have tried on a 13 in store, and I can tell you when you go up half a size, depending on if you have wide feet or not, they do get more comfortable. They are using different, I guess, either thicknesses of air, different PSI levels. I don't know if they're going to be changing the foam, but they are going to have to change the mold depending on the size, because the 13 was actually really comfortable. This was just a step below that, but both way more comfortable than what we got on the PG4. Now, as far as when it comes to fit, this is using a more traditional tongue. This is just a more traditional setup. The material, let's see if we can get a good focus here, is pretty malleable. It does have way more structure than what we saw on the PG4, so we're not making many sacrifices. This is not the highest quality feeling as far as what you're getting, but honestly, for the price point, this is more of the budget line for Nike. And for budget, you're still getting a very durable upper, you're still getting a high quality cushion, and you're getting a fit that's going to be a lot more adaptive to way more foot types. If you are a normal or narrow footer, just go true to size. If you're a wide footer, you definitely want to go up that half size. For me, I went up a full size. Now, when I go up a half size, my toe is right there. Like, it's not like I have much space. So going up to a 13, maybe you want to go up to a half size. If you have anything narrow, either it's a midfoot or the toe box, keep that in mind. If you have a high instep, you're going to be just fine with this tongue. If you have any issues in the arch, whether it's a flat foot, again, consider going that half size up. Now, the Zion is totally different. This is a shoe I went 12.5 on, and this upper kind of reminds me of this black and white joint. There is nothing to this. It literally fits my foot like it was saran wrapped. And I mean that in a good way. It is 1-to-1. My toe is right at the tip. This is a 12.5, and the fit is incredible. Now, I was able to try a size 12 in store, which is what usually is my true size, and it just didn't work. The whole thing was tight. Again, if you're a narrow footer or a normal footer and you go true to size, I think this is going to be fitting really tight on you, which again, a lot of players do like. If you want to have some space, I would recommend going up half size, and you should be good. As a 12.5, this is one of my favorite fitting shoes, which again goes a long way. But again, this upper is really kind of flimsy. It doesn't take any break-in. You're gonna know in store if you try these on what size you should go with. So if you're a 10 or if you're gonna be a 10.5, don't worry about breaking in or getting better. This is a really cheap feeling material. Let's jump into that. So the PG line first broke with the PG1, and it was just synonymous for using these ridiculously nice materials in the back. It also had a booty style construction just like the PG4, so I definitely had to do a 13 on this one, and I've been a 13 on most of the PG line, so being able to do a 12.5 on the 4 and the 5, it has been a little different. I'm glad I'm getting a 13 as a second pair for the PG5, but this was such a high quality material shoe. Same thing with the PG2. I think they took a step back there with the PG3, and then 4 and 5, they kind of equalized it. This is just a cheap feeling shoe. This is, I believe, the most inexpensive Jordan you can get outside of the One Take from Westbrook, which is actually a takedown model, so it's not a signature, but this is a signature shoe from Jordan, which they've only had a few players. Your Chris Paul, your Melo, obviously your Westbrook, now Zion, and this is what they gave us. And that material goes right into the support. The only reason this shoe has support that makes it worthwhile playing is that shape. Hopefully you guys can see here. This outrigger right here is huge. It really, you could see it from all angles, just right here, how it sticks out massively. This thing, essentially you learn to trust the shoe because the support is not doing your thing. When you jab, it feels like your foot's about to come out of the shoe. If you're trying to be a really shifty player, this is not going to be the shoe that you're going to enjoy playing in. Now, if you're a bigger dude and you're doing more on footwork, so you're not making these hard jabs, you're going to be fine. Because of that outrigger, because of it just having a really wide base, and you kind of just see this, it's way bigger in the forefoot. You can just tell the difference there from the heel. It does lend itself to being a stable shoe, being flat, having a wide base. The lacing does lock you into the heel cup, and even the heel cup is just this cheap, kind of plasticky, nothing really confidence inspiring. I honestly don't know how a 270-pound beast like Zion is playing in this shoe, and I'd love to see his PE because I really feel like he's getting way more support and structure than we're getting as the GR or general public releases. All right, so here's where the PG5 really starts to separate itself, even if you found a great fit on the Zion. All right, so now we're kind of narrowing down. You have a wide foot, you've gotten the right size. I believe you're still gonna be able to get that size with the PG5. You're just gonna have to go up. Like I said, I did a 12.5 in the Zion, it fits perfect. I think a 13 is gonna fit me a little bit better, but this did break in, it did mold well. These materials here, this is definitely a cheaper, plasticky pleather, but it's supportive. When you take a jab step, you feel held in. This material is actually quite durable feeling. And you can almost hear it has a little bit of plastic to it, but it moves with you, it molds well. So after the break-in, the heel is way more structured. And again, we don't have a typical heel cup. There's a little bit of rigidity, really low down here. But because you have that really high flare out towards your Achilles, it's a low top that really pulls you back into the shoe. The fit, it's a flat base, You still have a wide-like shoe, just like we got on the Kobe 9, with a little bit of an outrigger here. All in all, it's something that you just feel really confident in on any move. Whether you're a guard, whether you're a big man, you're going to have really good support, surprisingly. Now, this isn't elite levels of support. All right, if you need a super supportive shoe, there's plenty of other shoes we can go through. This does a really good job, and when you compare these two, this is definitely on another level. If you've had ankle issues, if you're somebody who's had some injuries and you want support, don't be fooled by a low top versus having a mid top. Like, these are going to give you way more security and just stability and hold than this will, where you're going to feel just more confident on court and how you move. All right, let's get down to the cushion, and that's where the Zion shines. But I got something for you guys. The Zion, for the price point at $120, is in the top most comfortable shoes that you're going to be able to buy all year, specifically for basketball, but honestly, even casually. The full-length Air with a way softer foam carrier and the way the Zoom is stacked on top of the Air, it works. This is just a super comfortable shoe out of the box, and anyone who wears this puts them on and is just blown away. Yes, this is more comfortable than what you're getting from Peak Design and their Tai Chi and their basketball lineup. Haven't tried their running. This is more comfortable than what we're doing from something like Way of Wade, even though this is excellent. This is an elite, super comfortable shoe. I'm going to put this in the top 5. I'm going to break down and have a top 5 most comfortable basketball shoes for you guys for 2021, so hold on tight to that. This almost makes the shoe worth it for any player who just wants a comfortable shoe. Again, if you do a lot of footwork where you're not really looking for the most stability, if you're a big player or someone who just wants cushion, this thing just feels incredible. Just the tuning of the Air, the foam, and that Zoom all work. So here's where we start to diverge a little bit. This just has Air. All right, so it feels a little better than the PG5, but it got me thinking. All right, this has Air with Zoom on the forefoot on top of the Air, and that actually worked really well. So, I don't know if you guys have heard of a shoe called the Flight Posit. I have a couple pairs. Actually, I've seen them in Ross and Nike outlets now. They come with an insole that has Air pods in the front and the heel. You put this in this, and now we have a full-length Air with Zoom Air in the forefoot. Sound familiar? And Zoom Air in the heel. This combo, yeah, out of the box, the Air is going to feel good for a lot of you players. In a 13, when I went up that size, it does feel comfortable. But if you are looking for a max cushion setup where you don't have to spend $180 in a Zoom GT run or LeBron 18, or you try this on and you really enjoyed it, but maybe you're more of a shifty player and you want that elite levels of support, and we'll get into the traction. This combo of putting this insole with this changes the game. You guys want to ask what my favorite shoe, and it's tough for me to recommend because right now this is up there with one of my favorite shoes, and it's not something I can tell you guys to go and buy because you have to mix and match and put this together. This isn't something that you're gonna just be able to buy off the shelf. If you're an NBA player, go ahead and ask Nike for these insoles because this is something that's gonna give you elite levels of cushion while still feeling quick, having something that's low to the court with the support and just a phenomenal cushion setup. Zoom on Air works. All right, now the final nail in the coffin, that Kobe 9 outsole. This isn't like Kobe 9. This isn't Kobe 9-esque. This is a Kobe 9 outsole. And it performs like a Kobe 9. You guys want to see a comparison? What do we got? One of the best, if not the best traction of all time. All right, these are my babies here. All right, I got plenty of Kobe 9s. Don't worry, no, they're not for sale. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I respect Kobe too much to make any profit on any of the shoes I have from him. That's like part of my family and part of my heart, who I am. So don't ask me for Kobe's, guys. But this traction, I don't need a bear on it. It's phenomenal. It's fantastic. Any court, you're going to be just set. The only traction that is a hair better, and it only depends on the court type, because I did play in a few courts that over the pandemic had no wax on it, just the finish was terrible, and the Curry 8 traction might be a little better, but we're talking Hall of Fame either way. Then we go to this piece of crap. Yeah, take a look at it. Look like it has some fingerprints, and it looks like, oh, maybe I'll just get a solid traction version. All of them have been some sort of translucent outsole. This traction picks up so much dust. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, I had a video of it on every court immediately. It's just like a magnet. It wipes off fine. And the crazy thing is, I hate playing these if I'm doing one-on-one or 32. But if I'm playing a full court game where I have, you know, some time to dust it off, where I'm running around screens, taking shots, I'm not just breaking down my defender, it's more team play. You know, I'm setting a screen, I'm rolling to the basket, I'm making some cuts. I know I can't make any hard jabs and cuts in this. So I'm modifying how I play a bit. But I have something that's super comfortable that at least allows me to do the footwork where I can still enjoy the game. This thing is lightweight, but that traction is borderline terrible. Now, it's not as bad as the brand Black. Sorry to hate on them. Hopefully you guys saw the last video. That traction ruined the whole shoe. This doesn't ruin the entire shoe, but you have a cushion setup that's so good. If the traction held up to it, and for me personally, I have a fit that is so nice on this, where I went that half size up, that everything but the cushion is actually a fantastic shoe. Even the support is something that, hey, it depends on your playing style, it works. But that traction is more of a letdown, if anything. If this is Hall of Fame status, I'm not cutting this, but this is your bench player warm-up status. So if you watched all the way through, it's probably easy for you guys to guess. You have cushion that is going to be as good when you modify it as the Zion, and without it, still good, just not to this level. You have support that easily surpasses the Zion 1. You have a fit that when you go up that size is still very good, even though this does feel like it's saran wrapped around my foot, but I will take that trade-off to have better support. And then the traction is just bananas. It's not even close. The PG5 is fantastic, which is why this is one of the few shoes I have a second pair, just like I have a second pair of my Curry 8s that both are probably going to be in dead stock, because traction like this does not come around all the time. So it's something that you really do want to either savor or have a few pairs or really enjoy these when you have them on your foot. Now, as far as that cushion setup, I wish I could sell this, make this available, because this kind of insole is phenomenal. Guys, I'm going to have a video for you as far as some of the best factory insoles that you can put in other shoes that can really complement each other. So if you're buying one shoe, you can use that insole and kind of change the setup for a few other shoes. Let me know if that's something that you guys will be interested in. Guys, girls, if you like that video, if it helped you out at all, please give the video a thumbs up. It really does help the channel. Consider subscribing. If you want to support the channel, go ahead and buy some of these Sneaker Gears shirts. You can buy it at the link below on sneakergears.com. And if there's any questions you have, I do my best to help you guys out and answer as much as I can. We do have quite a few videos coming out where we're going to go through some top fives. We have some other reviews, and we got some running shoes I got to come at you guys with, as I've been trying to put as much work as I can. As always, I really appreciate you guys. This is Levi with Sneaker Gears, and I will come at you later.